delegate from the Eastern Shore that is District 100. You know what? It's so cool to represent District 100 out of 100. Rob Bloxom.
Good. Hey, John. How are you, sir?
Good to have you with him. It's like I'm so fired up about the Shore. See, the only thing I knew about the Shore is I go over the bridge. I pay like $20 or something. And then Michael's laughing. And then they get you when you go back. So that's another $20.
You have your, 6 stoplights you have to worry about.
And the 6 stoplights. And then I go up 13, and everybody else tells me, look out for the speed traps. And I'm either going up to the Cape May Ferry or I'm going up to Harrington Raceway, which is one of my favorite hideaways there because Colonial Downs is shut down. So I'm all upset over that. So I got to go all the way up to Harrington. So you just got 13. And the only time I did anything is I went and covered your convention at that high school.
Yep. Yes, sir.
I couldn't say the name of it.
The regular circus show.
The regular circus.
Of which I was one of the acts, I guess.
We were live there. That was so much fun. We had such a good time. But I could never, I kept saying the name of the high school wrong.
Right,
How do I say it? Nandua.
It was at Nandua High School.
I couldn't figure it out. And then we covered your election night victory party at the Island House.
Yeah.
Remember that? And we had a good time there. But then I went up there on Friday, and Charlie Russell, who owns and runs WSCR Radio, bless his heart, spent 2 hours with me and drove me all around the shore there in Accomack. I had such a good time. I tell you what, that is a breathtakingly gorgeous place, Rob.
Well, we think so. Well, you really have to get off the main road. You got to get off and go into some of the towns. There's some beautiful towns and stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, there's some of the sites that we saw was like, man, I want to move up here when I retire. Hopefully, that's going to be sooner than later. This business that I'm in now. Delegate Bloxom, 100th District, Eastern Shore. Let's get to just an overview. This is really your second session, right?
My first full session.
Yeah,
Last session I came in halfway, so I kind of missed a lot of the committee work.
Right.
I got in for the last little hurrah, last 2 weeks or so.
What's been the biggest difference in your mind from when you came in last, I guess it was January, and now?
From last year to this year, you mean, John?
Yeah.
Well, last year, I mean, a lot of the bills had already been vetted and worked on and punched at it, and so by the time I got here, a lot of most of all the heavy work was done, and at that point you were either agreeing with the bill or you weren't. There was no way to really. I mean, you could change it, but I mean, of course, I couldn't change it. I was too new to understand what was going on.
Right.
So I just either agreed with the bill or didn't agree with the bill. This year, if you thought the bill was okay in committee, but there were some problems with it, you could actually start working on it and massage it and try to make it so it worked for everybody. Because something that works, out in the mountains might not work, in the town in the city of Norfolk. Vice versa, the Eastern Shore is a different place than than Northern Virginia. So it's a unique state where we've got a lot of different regions, different problems.
Mm-hmm. Now, what have you heard from your constituents? Their top issues. I know you're one of those guys. You're a retail politician. Your father was. When you go back for the weekends, and you go out to eat with your wife, what are your constituents saying?
A lot of them. It's funny because the emails and stuff that you get, a lot of them aren't really from your constituents. I mean, they know how to call me.
Mm-hmm.
So on some issues, if I have a question on a dog catcher bill up here, I just call the dog warden and call the sheriff at home.
Right.
Say, okay, I need a little help with this.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to keep them abreast, and I try to keep them involved in the bills that I think might affect the shore. I'll just call them up and say, listen, are y'all paying attention to this? Because this could affect us. And they'll give me good input, and sometimes it's we got to kill the bill, or other times it's like, listen, if you tweak it like this, we can live with it. So I try to keep them abreast. Come home, it's just good to get home and see everybody.
Right, no doubt. And we've got two pipelines trying to make their way through Virginia, the Atlantic Coast Pipeline, and then the bigger one right now, which is the Mountain Valley Pipeline. There's been several routes. That's going to bring energy. That's going to bring jobs to Virginia, but there's a lot of environmentalists that are standing in the way. They're a small but very, as you know, vocal group. How do you stand on that?
Well, if you look at just yesterday, they had to cut back all of the variable users like Anheuser-Busch and the big users. They had to cut them back just to keep people warm. I think Dominion Power was at 100% peak capacity, and they were trying to cut back anywhere, any of the big users that they could. So I mean, we're at a point where we've got to do something, and we've got to add infrastructure. So at some point, you weigh it out, and you're going to have to, you got to pick up more capacity.
Right, and everybody understands that natural gas is the way to go. It takes energy prices down. We need the energy. We need the jobs. And there's only three ways. I mean, you can manufacture it, but then you got to ship it. I mean, it can't stay there.
You've got to have some way to transport it.
And the only three ways are truck, train, and pipeline.
Right.
So, and the advantage of the pipeline is that, first of all, we've already seen the train accident last year in Lynchburg, so we know how that can happen. But the advantage of the pipeline is that manufacturing plants can set up in the pipeline area and tap into it to get the energy they need.
And we're actually trying to get a pipeline on the Eastern Shore. We've got a deal working, and it's been working for 2 or 3 years coming out of Pennsylvania, coming down, because we do not have natural gas. Everything we've got, I mean, we've still got plants running on number 6 fuel, which is, talk about bad for the environment, but it's the only thing you've got. So
right.
I mean, we're trying to come down as a deal through Maryland, coming into Virginia, trying to get a pipeline down, at least down to Nancock.
How was that working?
Well, it's in the works. I think they've jumped through most of the environmental hurdles, and I think we're hoping for the next year or so to actually see some real progress and get that coming online, because I mean that would really benefit our manufacturing and the chicken industry tremendously.
Well, you need the energy, and you need affordable energy, and I think that works. Pipeline's way to go. As you know, Delegate, election predictions, I am virtually 100% in Virginia. I never get it wrong. The only one I got wrong is I predicted Wayne Coleman would defeat Linwood, and when everybody was saying he was down by 15 points, and he lost by 15 votes.
Right, 11 votes, 15 votes, whatever the final recount ended up.
That's the only one I got wrong. As you know, Maureen today goes in for the sentencing hearing with Judge Spencer. We're with Republican delegate from the Eastern Shore, District 100, and a few precincts in Norfolk, Rob Bloxom. Delegate Bloxom, better with the budgeting situation. Revenue's up a little bit.
Oh, yes.
What are we going to do with the money?
First thing we have to do is pay back the rainy day fund.
Right.
I mean, that's got to, we're lucky that we planned to have that surplus to help us out when things went south. Other than that, I mean, of course, government can always spend extra money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ashamed to say we can always find uses for it. But one big thing I think we're going to do is try to help out the state employees. I don't think they've had a raise in 5 or 6 years. Of course, now a lot of this, John, is above my pay grade, if you understand what I mean.
I do.
I'm not number 100 now, but I'm not too far from it as far as my seniority. So I don't get a whole lot of say in the budget process, if you know what I mean.
Right. Well, I mean, look, that's the reality, but you'll work your way in. But your representation of your constituents is so critical. Let's get to, but I agree. I think the money should go to the rainy day fund, and I also am in favor of I mean, you got to have some cost of living raises, and look, I get the argument. I've got a lot of Tea Party friends, and their position is, look, no raises, because if you're a state employee, you're trading off financial raises for job security in a down economy. I get that. But when you look at the paltry pay of the state police and others, I think if you get a little extra money, there ought to be a raise. And
I think the problem we're having, and there again, I'm not on those type of committees. But
Right.
It looks like to me that we're losing some senior leadership. So out of the the core of the state employees, and you need to have people with some institutional knowledge still on the staff that can train people.
Exactly. You need that institutional knowledge. That's one of the problems now with the Republican Party of Virginia. Everybody got fired. There is no institutional knowledge and there's no money, but that's a separate topic we're not going to get into. What I do want to talk about is redistricting. Number of bills passed through the Senate, coming to the House. What is your sense? You think the House is going to do anything with this?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I guess the argument, I understand what they're saying, but I don't think you can ever have, even if you do an appointed committee or you do a college study or however you want to redistrict, I don't know how you could ever have it be nonpartisan. I mean, I'm not really sure if that's possible, because anybody that's interested in being hired to do that job is probably partisan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you'd ever do it.
Well,
and it's worked for 200 years. I mean, we haven't had a lot of these bills when the Democrats had 90% of the, General Assembly.
You're right.
Yeah, now all of a sudden we get them all. So,
well, you're right, and I'm in favor. You're going to probably, some people find this shocking. I'm in favor of keeping it like it is, because once a month, just as an aside, I get on a special once a month radio broadcast, NPR, and I get on once a month, and everybody on there, I'm like the token conservative, everybody else super liberal. And at the end of every conversation, all they blame everything that's wrong with Virginia on the fact that they're of the House districting. And I say every month, I'm like, if the Democrats were in control 2-1, you would be saying it was the best thing ever. So it's just nonsense.
Right.
And it is what it is. Go out and win. I don't care what the precincts are.
Well, I mean, you can say everything's wrong with Virginia is in the House, but we have a balanced budget. We actually have a surplus right now.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff right with Virginia. I mean, it's easy to say what's wrong, but how are you going to fix it?
Yep.
You got to come up. It's easy to shoot from behind the bushes. It's another thing to step out and say, "Here's my solution." And by the way, it's going to increase spending by $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, wait a minute, we can't do that.
That's right. I think this has been a very productive session for everybody. We'll see how it turns out, but a lot of progress being made on charter schools and other areas. I am out of time. I want to thank Delegate Rob Bloxom for being with us. He's a Republican
Thank you, John, so much.